Happy New Year! Renee Report is back. I took like a 5-month break from filming these and doing my podcast, the Renee Report Unedited. I just posted a new podcast on Wednesday. So if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. It's pretty much the same thing as this, but I kind of add different stuff in each one between the podcast and this little. So you have to watch this and listen to the podcast. But I took a break because I had an emotional breakdown between August and September. And basically, I'm a really hands-on mom. I love my children and I get emotionally very invested in them. I have my 2-year-old Paul and then my 5-year-old Cat. She's been on a few of my videos. And if you follow me on social media, you probably have seen Paul. If you don't know, he has spina bifida. He was diagnosed with it when I was 20 weeks pregnant with him. He had surgery once he was born, and surgery to kind of connect his spine back together. Because that's basically what spina bifida is. It's your spine is part in utero, and then they put it back together. But because of it, he can't use his legs, so he goes to physical therapy. And so it's a lot with him. And then in August, we went to the doctors and he was having an off day. And the doctor basically told me you should check him for autism, which autism doesn't freak me out, the whole thing. It was just like, great, one more thing I have to worry about. And if, maybe he was having an off day because of me. And then come to find out my daughter, who didn't go to pre-K last year because of the whole COVID thing and everything, she was a little falling behind in her kindergarten class and she needed tutoring. So I had those things back to back. And just as a mom, it was like, am I failing? Am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? Like, what is going on? Like, it was just an emotional pull. And I know for some, it was probably, it's not a big deal or they handle it differently. But with me, the emotional investment I give into my children, it takes an emotional toll on me. I've always wanted children, but I didn't know I'd be like, So I figured, I needed to take a break because I love doing these Renee Reports. I love doing the podcast. And I feel like I need to be my authentic, positive, happy self. And if I'm sad, it's just not going to come off as I want to be here. And this is like a hobby I do. So I'm like, I want to be here. So I took some time off. Now I'm back for the year 2022. As I mentioned before, I posted my podcast, which it goes along with what I'm saying in here, so you can listen to the podcast. Of course, watch this and listen to the podcast. So I'm just going to get right into the Renee Report for this week. A lot of couples broke up, celebrity couples. I talk about celebrity couples. Like, I think one day I'll write a book about celebrity couples and what I think about them. Anyways, 2 celebrity couples broke up in the year 2021. One of which I'm really bummed about is Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes. And I thought they would last forever. And I'm really sad they broke up because they always said, we're best friends and we're going to stay friends. I think they will stay friends. Maybe they'll get back together in a few years. They're young though. They're very young. And like Dua Lipa and Onward Hadid. Yes, he's the brother of Gigi and Bella Hadid, who are international models. I think on the podcast I said, I think they're international models, but no, they are. They're really well known. And that made me bummed too because I follow Dua Lipa on Instagram and they just look so happy and loved. She always looks like she's on vacation too. And like, if I ever met her, I'd be like, what is your workout schedule? She has like this rockin' body. Like she's fit and like, she probably works out, but I don't know what she does. Maybe she posts about it. I don't know. Anyways, her and Onward were just this happy couple. And I'm just bummed they broke up. But I have to keep in mind, I know I get so invested in everything. If I like something or I'm like in love with it, I'm so invested. Anyways, they are all young. They're all under 26. They're all under 30. So, they have time. They're young and attractive and have money and celebrity. So, yeah, why stick to one person? But those couple breakups just really bummed me out. But maybe they'll get back together, like J-Lo and Ben, who are still together. And they're very happy. And I hope they get married this year, because why just move in together? It's your second time around with each other. You obviously are very much still in love. Just get married. Oh, I have a theory. It's a funny theory. So Ben and Jen were together 18 years ago. So I was like 16 or whatever, 16, 17. I love Ben and Jen. Watch my other videos. I think I go into detail why I like them so much, and I love them together. But one of the rumors why they broke up was she was out of town, out of the country, filming a movie. He was like in Toronto, Canada, and the paparazzi got him going in and out of a strip club. And it really like pissed off Jen. This is the rumor. I don't know if this really happened. I read the story when it happened, or I heard about it, but I don't know if this really happened. So it was one of the stories or things that broke them up originally 18 years ago. My theory is he saw that movie Hustlers. Have you seen it? It's streaming on Hulu right now. So if you have the minimal subscription to Hulu, you can see the movie Hustlers starring Jennifer Lopez, and she does a great job. Like, her acting and exotic dancing is just up to par, on par, whatever, however you say that. I'm thinking Ben saw that movie because he probably is cool with strippers. And he told himself, if Jen breaks up with A-Rod, I'm going to give her a call. That's my theory. Don't go with it. That's just my theory, because I'm like obsessed with them and I want them to get married. Maybe adopt a kid. I don't think they'll adopt a child though. They'll probably get like a dog together or something. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, that's my theory. But I love that they're together. They're still together. They got together, I think, in May, pretty quickly after her and A-Rod broke up. So May or June of 2021. Still going strong. They manage to see each other whenever they can. And I'm all about them. I hope they throw a big wedding. But it could go either way, because they've both been married before. And I think every wedding she's had like a big wedding. So I'll definitely keep you posted about it. So, going into what to watch, because if you haven't seen these Renee Reports, I talk about celebrity gossip, mostly celebrity couples, and what to watch. What I'm watching, what I'm going to watch, what I've heard people should watch. Hustlers, watch it. It's a good movie. It's actually, you have to sit down and watch it. You can't just let it run and like do stuff around the house. You have to sit and watch it, because so many things are going on, not like different storylines, but just like details. And if you don't know the story of Hustlers, it's basically about these strippers in New York who end up hustling these Wall Street guys, for money and everything. So that's all I'm going to say about it. You got to watch it. Another show to watch on the podcast I'm like, it's a movie. Squid Game. It's so good. If you haven't watched it, it's been out for a while on Netflix, but it's so good. I mean, intense. I think I finished it in a weekend because it was that good. Which, if I can binge a show, because it's really hard for me to find time to watch like a bunch of shows at once, or all the episodes. So if I can binge it and find time to do it, it's a good show. So Squid Game is really good. There is going to be a season 2. Speaking of Netflix, the second season of Emily in Paris is so good. Lily Collins, oh. And then her dad's Phil Collins. Like, I knew that like about 5 years ago. But when she first came out, I didn't know that was her dad. Like, I love Phil Collins. I think it's weird because he has an accent, because he's British. And she was raised in London, but she grew up mainly in America, so that's why she doesn't have a British accent. But I love that aspect of Lily Collins. But she's so good as Emily. And I feel like the second season is so funny. It's so cheesy funny. It's funnier than the first season. If you liked the first season, watch the second season. Third show, HBO Max has... Okay, I struggled with this on the podcast. The Sex and the City reboot, and Just Like That. Okay, I always want to say like something else. I don't know why. It's a mental block. Anyways, I want to say As Good as It Gets. And Just Like That is really good. I know there's some critics that say it's not great. They're really missing Samantha, Kim Cattrall in the show. But I really think, I love that it's been the same writer who's been in charge of a lot of the series, the movies, because he really knows the characters. And I really feel like this is where the characters would be at this time in their lives. So it's really, really good. If you love Sex and the City, watch it. Actually, the podcast for And Just Like That, it's a writer's podcast of all the writers. They talk about each episode after it airs. It's really inspired me to get back into doing my podcast can't talk, and the Renee Report on Instagram and YouTube, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a good podcast. So listen to that podcast. It's I should have got the name. It's And Just Like That, like the writer's room or the writers. You can find it. Just type in And Just Like That on any like podcast platform and it'll pop up. But yeah, so HBO Max. I love HBO Max. There's so many good things to watch on HBO Max. I actually steal it from my brother. I think he gets a free membership for like a year or something. And so me and my husband just added our profile to his HBO. But I can only watch it in my son's room. So if I watch something, he's either in the kitchen eating or watching TV in there, or he's on my phone. So I can only watch it in my son's room. So yeah, I'm going to watch the new episode. It came out this week of And Just Like That. And then the other show I've been watching, and I've been talking about it on the radio, is Yellow Jackets. It's on Showtime. I literally downloaded the Showtime app just so I can catch up and watch the show. And it's so good. Like, I've been telling everybody to watch it, and I've been checking on other blogs and entertainment reporters, and they're just as obsessed with it as I am. If you don't know the background, Yellow Jackets is based off of Lord of the Flies, which is a book. And that book scared the crap out of me when I was 15. Like, it gave me nightmares. And it's not really a scary concept. Basically, it's about these boys who get stranded on an island from England. And there's no adults, so they learn how to like govern themselves, and a couple of them end up killing each other. But the way it's worded in the book is just so creepy, because I really like read it. And I'm obsessed with true crime and murder and scary stuff. So I get really into it, and then the reality, like these kids killing each other, just freaked the crap out of me for like a year. Anyway, so I read about Yellow Jackets first, and when I heard that, I'm like, oh, but it's a girl group. And so basically they get stranded in the Ontario, Canada forest, and they're a soccer team, and all this stuff happens. Like, you don't know if it's supernatural stuff or, you know, and it's weird because there's only 2 more episodes left, and they haven't even gotten into all the creepy stuff yet. So they're saving it for the last 2 episodes. So I know the next 2 episodes are going to give me nightmares. But what I love about the show, it's like goes back and forth between when they were stranded and like 25 years later, and how like 4 of the women primarily are dealing with what happened. And it's so interesting. It's good to watch. It has Christina Ricci, Juliette Lewis. The acting is really good. Like, you get very into it. So I highly suggest watching Yellow Jackets. You can actually stream the first episode on YouTube, or like any kind of format of streaming you have. Like Showtime just put it out there. So the first episode really grabs you in. And then they don't even get into back to what they did in the first episode till like 4 episodes later. So it's so good. So that's what to watch. And that is the Renee Report for this week. I'm going to try to post my podcast and these Renee Reports every other week. Hopefully I'll start doing it every week, because I really miss doing it. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening. And I just hope you have a great weekend and enjoy yourself.